Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. And we'll be talking about the YouTube censorship of Joe Rogan and the Trump interview. I will be perfectly honest. I have not yet watched the interview. I mean, it is 3 hours. It's kind of hard to really get my teeth into and all that other stuff. And, doing research and all that great stuff. It's hard to get my teeth into this show when I have so many other things going on in my life. So, that being said, it is not easy getting into it, but there's a lot of crazy things that's been going on here that I think we have to really address, alright? So first, what we're going to be doing here is this, right? We'll be doing this. Joe Rogan refuses Kamala Harris conditions for the podcast interview. Now, there's a reason why this is going on, and it's not really a decline, as you'll find out later, is that this is not really a decline from Joe Rogan, and there's some other websites as well that are also saying this, and it's not a decline, it's just they're unreasonable. Like, he explains exactly why this is, and we have this here from the New York Post saying Joe Rogan shoots down Kamala Harris podcast interview over campaign demands. Says Joe Rogan says he has shut down a podcast interview with Vice President Kamala Harris after her campaign made several demands, but insisted he hopes it can still happen. The mega popular podcaster said the Democratic presidential nominee's team had wanting him to travel to her and for their chat to last for only an hour. So, we're going to go to exactly what Joe Rogan said, right? Because you guys got to understand what it is, and I'll explain exactly kind of like how you would go and do this stuff. So Joe says since there's an issue with searching for this episode on YouTube, here is the full podcast with Trump. It goes on to say, also for the record, the Harris campaign has not passed on doing the podcast. They offered a date for Tuesday, but I would have to travel to her, and they only wanted to do an hour. I strongly feel the best way to do it is in the studio in Austin. My sincere wish is to just have a nice conversation and get to know her as a human being. I really hope we can make it happen. So, that's what's going on here. Guys, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. Give me a few minutes and I'll kind of... Alright, let me explain this. So, say you have a podcast, right? And your podcast fits a certain theme. Fits a certain criteria of what people come to watch your show. And some demands can be, done, but the demand that she's demanding here is absolutely insane, right? She wants only an hour interview, and most of the time when she does these hour interviews, it's cut dramatically. So instead of being an hour interview, it's more like a 30-minute interview, or it's like a 15-minute interview, or an 18-minute. Like, it's never the actual full thing. And I have a feeling that Kamala Harris would do something like this. And the fact that you have people and some of the far left saying like, oh, come on, Joe Rogan, go do it, go travel and whatever. No, the whole point is you're going on the Joe Rogan experience. You're going on to his podcast. You go to him, right? Regardless whether the Kamala Harris is busy or not, you're going on to Joe Rogan's podcast. You're going to his show. So you have to cater to it, right? You have to do what you can. Now, some other podcasts, if they want to cater to other demands, that's fine. But that does not mean you have to go and bend the knee for all of this. Like, if I do a show, right, and the show that I do is specifically with, kind of like a Skype podcast or a Zoom podcast, if you want to correct, I have guests, it's going to fit that theme pretty much like 90-95% of the time. Maybe there'll be other times where it doesn't fit, but most of the time it's going to be the podcast. And with Joe Rogan, he has full control over what he wants to do on his podcast and all that great stuff, right? So I don't see where people are just blasting Joe for not want to go do a host of demands that she wants him to do. That's insane. Because you have to go and take all your stuff and whatever. It's a bigger hassle. They're supposed to go in here. It's like if you pay for the flights, if you pay for all this stuff, they travel to you, and the only thing you have to do is sit there and look pretty and to make a conversation, then, my God. It's not that difficult. And we have this here, right? We have some bigger things here as well with with Joe Rogan. All right, it says Joe Rogan addresses the claims YouTube censoring Donald Trump interview. Goes on to say Joe Rogan has addressed rumors that his podcast episode interviewing Republican candidate Donald Trump was censored by YouTube. The former president sat down with Rogan for a 3-hour episode of the Joe Rogan Show, which was released on Friday, October 25th. I still need to watch that. But the episode was not initially listed on YouTube, meaning the episode could only be shared through a direct link and not come up in search results on the website. Rogan wrote on X, formerly Twitter, on October 26th, there is no issue with YouTube censoring the Trump episode. It was just supposed to go live on both Spotify and YouTube at the same time, and there was a glitch in Spotify's upload system, so we did list the YouTube link until it's fixed. It should be fine now. However, several days later, or after, my apologies, Rogan said there was no issue with the video listing. He posted the entire episode on X for his listeners, writing, since there's an issue with searching for this episode on YouTube, here's a full episode with podcast with Trump. So, yeah. That's what's going on. And YouTube does this consistently, guys. YouTube always censors people. They do not like things that are against the narrative and against the narrative and doesn't cater to the Democratic Party. This is the reason why I say that the liberal media, all these media outlets and stuff like that, is cahoots and friends with the Democratic Party. That is just reality. That is the truth. So that's the reason why a lot of conservatives or Republicans cannot get their voices out, because these liberal media or social media companies are mostly Democratic. They mostly cater to the Democratic Party, and they censor a lot of the things that the other side says. This is just reality. This is just truth. Now, whether or not my channel is being heavily suppressed or not by YouTube, regardless of the fact is they still do it to other channels. And this has been proven time and time again that they do this, along with all these other liberal media outlets. So, I'm not even going to say, like, Republican or whatever, because I don't even try to cater myself to that ideology. I try to keep myself pretty much mostly away from the politics era of that nature. And this is a constant thing. And the only way to combat this is to have more websites like Rumble come up and be more popular. Take down YouTube in its get-go. And I think there's more on the interesting stuff that I'll cover today too about YouTube. But this is what they constantly do. And what we have here, guys, something new that you guys should probably see, is that Charlamagne the God, an idiot, mind you, a fool and a moron. He thinks that his podcast is just as big, if not bigger, than the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. I don't know where he's getting this, or how delusional and insane this guy is, but obviously he must be beyond delusional to think this. This is what he has to say about it, and, man, it really is something, huh?
There's no bigger place to go in the business than Joe Rogan right now.
The Breakfast Club is pretty big.
Fam.
No.
Fam, stop it. Stop it.
You think Joe Rogan's bigger than Breakfast Club?
10 times your size.
Why do you think that?
Just look at the numbers. I did 10 million views in 2 days.
On what?
On the interview. Between the clips and the interview.
Soulja Boy did 15 in a day.
That's Soulja Boy.
And who was Soulja Boy at that time?
Exactly. Soulja Boy is one of the most well-known artists in the world. Hold on, you really think that your platform is bigger than Rogan?
Just as big, easily.
Come on, bro. Let's look at the recent interviews on Breakfast Club compared to the recent interviews on Rogan.
Do it.
Let's have a nice humbling.
Yeah, so I don't know what else to tell people, but stupidity runs high with Charlamagne. He doesn't seem like the most intelligent individual, because if he was, he would actually understand a lot of the things that are going on. So this is a Breakfast Club, right? This is what he has. So he is pretty big. He is a pretty big channel. I would love to have my podcast at least half the size of his, and be able to make my way and have enough money just to live, and all that great stuff. That's all I want. I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't need to be a millionaire. I just like to have enough money to live and get by, and that's pretty much it. If I surpass that, then fantastic. But if not, I'm not gonna cry myself a river. But he is rank is 77 on Apple, and 16, 104, 39, and 90. He's 185 on Spotify, and on Chartable he's like 25, 18, 360, 265, and 158, right? And it's like, really, Really, this is how big you are, right? Now let's just go to here. This is the Joe Rogan Experience. The Joe Rogan Experience is number one on everything. He's number one on everything. Let's go back. Look at this. 77, all that stuff, like nowhere near nowhere near one. Nowhere near one. We're number one on everything. Charlamagne, what are you doing? Like, you're an actual idiot to think that you are anywhere near close to Joe Rogan in terms of podcast. Nowhere close. So now let's go over to here. This is the Breakfast Club on Social Blade, all right? Yeah, so pretty big, doing well. Last 30 days, 29 million subscribers. That is a lot. And weekly averages, you know, it gets like around 7K, all right? This is how big they are. They have 5.65 million subscribers, all right? So let's take a look at that. And then, of course, if we go to YouTube here, the Joe Rogan Experience, he has 18 million subscribers. All right? This is 18 million. All right? And he gets like around, last 30 days, he got 600K. Or 600K subscribers. And he got like 7.6 million video views. Charlamagne got 29 million video views. And only 30K subscribers. He, in a month. Joe Rogan is almost like 15 times, if not more, subscriber gain than the Breakfast Club has gotten in 30 days. They have 3 to 4 times, give or take, more people for in terms of video views than the Breakfast Club. Like, I don't understand what he's thinking here and how he thinks like, oh, we're bigger. No, you're not. You're not bigger. You're smaller. That's like saying that I'm bigger than you with my measly 900 subscribers. And this is not to mock my subscribers, by the way. Thank you very much for subscribing to me. I appreciate you all. But 900 is not bigger than 5 million. Alright? So, again, he's being delusional. He's being insane, as he always is. He's an idiot. But this is just something that I can't understand. Like, he can't do numbers. Like, it's like he's incapable of actually just doing numbers. Because you could just look at these numbers, you can easily tell, Joe Rogan's pretty much bigger. Like, he's practically almost a pioneer of podcasts. Alright, so I don't get what he's saying here. I think he's an idiot. And not only that, a lot of the videos he's done so far in terms of what he has is very low. I mean, even the Kamala Harris, he only got 500,000 people viewing it. Whereas Rogan did the Donald Trump, he got 30 million. He's at the 38 million right now. So I don't understand what's going on here. So the stupidity in the highest order. But yeah, Kamala Harris is not doing well. She's getting slammed for it, as she should. And yeah, it was more likely than not Kamala Harris declined the interview because she made a huge host of demands to go onto the podcast, and it's just not feasible. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted because it's algorithmic disease, the social media.